Hello, my name is Andy and I am the Village Idiot. I'm armed with a car and a GoPro and an unhealthy amount of time on my hands. I'm using that time to attempt to visit every civil parish in England. You're watching the West Lindsey series. This is one of the 9 districts of Lincolnshire and one of the county's most rural. It has 128 civil parishes. Let's see which one this episode's all about. Welcome back to West Lindsey again, everybody. We've got 11 left to go to, and this one is one of the smallest in West Lindsey, but also one of the most historic. It's got a couple of tales which need to be told, because history is of course what makes this country so great. Welcome to the parish of Sixhills. The West Lindsey series is sponsored by Gainsborough Cycles, 01427 617 752. For all your cycling needs, this is your one-stop shop, located at 20 Ropery Road or online at gainsboroughcycles.com. There's a link in the description. Gainsborough Cycles, ask for Trevor Halstead. And this video is also sponsored by Jamie's Fitness Studio, based on Low Road, Greyingham, near Curtin in Lindsey. Jamie is one busy lady. Check her out by calling 07906 749 574 or emailing hello@jamies.co.uk. Online membership is available. There's a link to her Facebook page in the description. Jamie's Fitness Studio. Get fit, get happy, get healthy. Here's my disclaimer for people who may be watching me for the first time. I say things as I would in my native accent and dialect. As a result, I may not pronounce things in the same way as the locals do. Remember, I'm a visitor. It's impossible to know everything. Leave me a comment, spin me a like and bash that subscribe button. Let's get to today's parish video. Welcome to the tiny village of Sixhills, located on the Lincolnshire Wolds about 3 miles southeast of Market Rasen. It lies just south of the A631, close to West Lindsey's border with East Lindsey. It may be called Sixhills, but the village is mostly perched on one particular hill. Mind you, this is a hilly area, so I would imagine there are 6 of them somewhere. Who knows? I haven't counted. It has a church and a handful of houses, including one that's 15th century. Aside from those, there's just a couple of farms, but there's no shops, pubs or schools. Sixhills offers those who visit this tiny place some awesome panoramic views across 20 miles of Lincolnshire countryside, all the way to the Lincoln Cliff, where the Cathedral stands up squarely on the horizon. As good as the views are in this part of Lincolnshire, Sixhills isn't nearly as famous for those as it is for its history. You see, many centuries ago this place had a priory. It was founded in the 12th century and was a house of the Gilbertine order. That's nothing out of the ordinary for a Lincolnshire village, as we know, but Sixhills Priory once held 2 notable political prisoners, one Scottish, the other Welsh. Both were women, and they were both held at the behest of King Edward I after he'd executed their relatives for treason. He did at least pay an annual fee of £20 for the upkeep of one of them. I reckon that's a bit tight myself. Let's go. We start at an entrance to one of Sixhills' farms at the northeastern end of the village. This road appears to have no name. Not far from the farm entrance is this building. This was a United Free Methodist chapel which was founded in 1886. It closed down in 1961 and currently stands empty. Given its isolated position, a renovation would make it a brilliant little home. Speaking of homes, Sixhills is made up of a small collection of those. Many of them look similar to the one on the right here. There are exceptions to that rule, like for example the one that stands opposite the end of this road. It's Sixhills' most well known. More on that in a second, but let's head up Hainton Road briefly. Hainton is the village directly to the south of Sixhills. This is Lincoln Lane Farm, and this stands close to a very historic piece of land. There's more on that in a moment too. Just past the farm, you'll see a big white house in the distance. That's Mill Platt Farmhouse, 18th century and Grade 2 listed. Alongside Lincoln Lane Farm is a footpath which runs to Holtham Gars, a now non-existent settlement once in the parish of Legsby. From the path you can appreciate why this is called Sixhills. This is beautiful Lincolnshire, folks, and how I love to call it home. Well, this might not be as good as what you can see from the Lincoln Cliff in places like North Kesteven, like Waddington and Harmston and Colby, but I tell you what, it's still a bloody good view, even on a cold September morning. Well worth coming to Sixhills just to see that, to be honest with you. But there are other things here in Sixhills to see. We've still yet to go to the church, which is just over in that direction. But before we do that, we need to talk about another kind of religious building, Sixhills Priory. Just down the hill on the road to Little London is the site of Sixhills Priory. It was a house of the Gilbertine order and was founded between 1148 and 1154. It made quite a decent living from its landed interest stretching for miles around, as well as a tidy profit from the wool trade. However, in its time, it's also housed 2 political prisoners. In 1283 it held Gladys Furch Dafydd, the daughter of Dafydd ap Gruffydd, better known as the last free prince of Wales. He was executed for treason by this man, Edward I, and Gladys was held to prevent her from producing any future Welsh rebels. Another of Edward's prisoners was Lady Christina Seton, better known as Christina Bruce. Bruce was the sister of this man, Robert the Bruce, and husband of Sir Christopher Seton, who Edward also had executed for treason. Imprisoned in 1306, Bruce was released sometime after her brother's victory at the Battle of Bannockburn in 1314. Of all the buildings in Sixhills, this one holds the biggest clue to the existence of the priory. This is called the nunnery. The actual nunnery has no traces left, save for a few carved stones which were used as part of the building material for a nearby farm. This is wrongly shown as Lincoln Lane Farm on OS maps. It's the oldest building in the village and parts of it date back to the 15th century. Now we go over the road towards the only religious building in the village that's still active, the Church of All Saints. This was built in the 1860s and was designed by James Fowler of Louth. I mean, at this point, who else was it going to be? The existing building is not the original, it's a rebuilding of a medieval church which dated back to the 13th century. In 1871, its gable turret was struck by lightning and a new bell tower was built to replace it in 1875. This was rebuilt again in 1902. Not much more than that is recorded about this one. It was open though, so we can at least have a little look around inside. It's a little bit plain in here. There's not many tablets or monuments on the walls, and it could use some paint in places. In the wall of the chancel is a gravestone. It's a bit worn away, but beneath this spot are the mortal remains of William Gwylyn. So it's a simple enough church building. It's not got much on the walls, apart from the gravestone, which I've just shown you there. There's another one on the other side, in memory of John somebody. I can't read his last name because it's worn away. But the rest of the walls don't have many tablets on. It's a church that doesn't have much stained glass. In fact, none at all. None of these windows have got any stained glass in. The one at the end is cracked a little bit. It's behind the cross there. There's a crack in that bottom pane. But to be honest with you, it's well maintained. It's a beautiful church, to be honest. And something else I noticed as well as I was walking up to it is from here you can see the golf ball at Normanby le Wold. I don't know whether I can just see it out this window, but it's over there somewhere in the very far distance. You can see it from Sixhills, which doesn't surprise me really, because obviously you're on the Wolds again here, so you know, it's a major Wolds landmark, isn't it, as we discovered in that episode. So now we're going to head out of the church and back to where we started, and really folks, that's it for Sixhills. Time to drive down the hill and leave Sixhills behind. The next one is only a mile away to the north, and although it doesn't have much in the way of medieval history in comparison, it is one a certain type of motor enthusiast will know very, very well. Come with me next week for another little walk around. Thanks for watching this video, folks. Don't forget to like this episode if you haven't already. It really makes a difference with YouTube. If you're new here, subscribe to the channel for more videos like this, and give us a share too if you've got friends who'd like it. You can find all the links to my social media accounts below, as well as my Buy Me a Coffee page where you can donate to the channel. Also, if you've enjoyed this episode, have a look at some more videos in this series. Until next time, I've been Andy, also known as the Village Idiot, and I'm out.